ELA, language arts. And then the test name. So this might be, let's say, a unit assessment that you're creating. And for the sake of not having any confusion, I'm going to put demo here, unit demo. Okay. Because I'm not sure what other item banks have been, or should I say other banks that have been created. Once I put that in, then we're going to press create. So again, we'd like for you to follow the format of the year, the grade, the subject, and then the name of whatever test, because it could be your midterms, it could be a final, it could be a mini quiz, it could be your unit assessment that you're creating, okay? And then create. It says, you get a message that says it was successful, and then your test, your bank will populate in the test bank file. So now I need to look for my test, and it was 2021, grade 6, unit demo. ELA, unit demo, and here it is here. So I want to click that because I need to now actually create the test, okay? So once I click that, you're going to see these pop up. It gives us the test bank properties over here. And we'll come back to that when we finish creating our test, okay? Because as you can see, you can publish it to the district and publish it to the school or a particular school, or you can just publish it to the entire district. So once we do that, now we want to add a test to this bank. So again, I'm going to name it, use the same conventions, 2021, grade 6, ELA subject, unit, let's say 3, okay? And then now, let me put demo behind it just so that I know. Okay, and then I'm going to press create. Everybody with me? Let me just do stop share because for some reason, oh, here we go. Let me change it. I have it on gallery view, but when I go to share my screen, only one of your pictures are popping up of your screen. So I'm not sure why that's happening today because normally it would give me a gallery view on the opposite page as well.
Okay, I'm with you. I just wanted to ask. I didn't ask permission. Is it okay if I record this? I was recording it, but I stopped.
Oh,
just because I
sure.
want, like, if I need to reference back to it when I'm going.
Well, you know what, Tristan, you don't even have to do that because we have resources for you, which I will share with you when we're done. Okay.
All right.
So, but you're welcome to record it if you want to. Okay. Not a problem. Okay. Definitely welcome to record. It's not a problem. So everybody's okay with me so far? Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, I got my sound. Okay. So now we're back at the page where we want to create the actual test, okay? And again, as I said, you can create the test from scratch, and these are the test property areas that you would use to create your test from scratch, but that's not our focus today. I'm going to cover some information with you today to show you how that works. But our focus today is using our item banks, items that have been created. So on this page, you see import item, create item, add sections. We want to import items that have already been created for us. And then we get to our filtered item from the library page. And here you see personal item library, district item library, and third parties. Personal item library are items that you yourself have created in the system that you want to pull from. The district item library are your park release item tests, Linkit, New York regions questions, various different other tests that are available to us. And then the third party are the Certica assessments from Navigate. So I'm going to start there with the third party questions. And as you can see, your filters are at the top, and then the questions will populate at the bottom once we make some selections. Okay, so again, this was an ELA test. So as you can see, all states are selected. I'm going to select, what's going on? Go to item. Why is it doing that? All states. Okay, let me just do a search by item and see what happens. Okay, when we search by items, there's 123,928 entries that pop up. And we definitely don't want to have to search through that many items to create a test. So what we want to do is begin to populate. What's going on? It's not allowing me to create my subjects. So what I did was I went to item criteria because I'm trying to figure out why it would not allow me to select from that previous page where I was going to select standards. And again, this isn't language arts assessment, so I'm going to go with language arts. I'm going to select my grade under, and I'm in the item criteria again. And again, the item type, do I want multiple choice, true or false? For the sake of this particular training, I'm going to leave all items at this point, okay? Because I just want to see. On the other side, you have the depth of knowledge. I'm going to leave all. Difficulty level, I'm going to change difficulty level to medium. Actually, I'm going to leave it at all. I don't want to get any problems with my questions. And then Bloom's taxonomy levels, all, okay? I'm going to search by items, and then I'm going to go back because I want to search by standard. And as you can see, when I put those filters in, here it shows me that there's 4,932 entries to choose from. That's still quite a lot to have to search through in order to find questions. And as you can see, the questions populate here in this window. If you hover over them, it'll give you information about this particular question. It's a language arts subject. The difficulty level is medium. Bloom's taxonomy is understanding. It's grade 6. It's giving us the standards, the depth of knowledge, skills and concept, and then the passage. And if you remember, I said language arts, it's not good to search for language arts or to build a language arts test from searching by items. It's best to search a language arts by passage, okay? So I'm going to search by passage and see what comes up. In here, when we search, you can see the different passages that pop up. There's 289 entries here that we can select from. You see the name of the passage. There's a number, the subject, the grade, the text type, nonfiction, fiction, the text subtype, biography, informational text, realistic fiction, essay, historical fiction, and so on. The word count, the Flesh Kincaid, I'm not even sure what that is, guys. And then matched items. There's 3 items. And I haven't selected any standards yet, but it's showing that there's 3 matched items based on what has been selected from the top, and then the number of items. Okay, so again, they're related to language arts, the grade. Now I'm going to go back a page just to see if it's going to allow me to select the standards. And it's not. I'm not sure why that's happening, guys. But we'll see it when we go to the district item test. I'll come back to that and make sure you guys know how to see that. So again, passage, if you hover over this and click it, you can actually pop up the passage so you can see what the passage looks like. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so let's say I do want to use this passage. I'm going to then select the questions so I can see what the questions look like for this particular passage. Again, if I hover over it, it's a language arts, medium difficulty. It's the taxonomy level is analyzing, and it's covering standards RI 6.2. Okay. If I click the question, I can then see what the question actually looks like. Which statement best summarizes the information in the passage? Okay. And it showed you the correct response. So I will select these. You select what questions you want to use. Let me just see what this one looks like. Okay. And then when you select the question items that you want to go with, you just add the items to your test. They will populate in the items on the test to the right here. Any questions? Okay. Once you are done with selecting your items, you simply return to the test down here at the bottom. But because that process is the same, I now want to move over to the district item library. Okay? So I'm going to clear these filters.
Yvonne, I just have a quick question. So the item bank that you have available, you have for varied subject and content areas I saw before. So social studies can create an exam if they wanted to via the item bank, and science and other disciplines as well?
Yes. And as you can see, if I do the drop down, it will give me, in this particular Certica, you can select history, social studies, language arts, math, science. Type questions, okay?
Thank you.
So I'm clearing all the filters, and I want to now go to district item library, okay?
And I just want to add for Tristan and Mila, so for the bilingual teachers, what will happen is once you create a test, you'll need to send it to me, and I will send it out to somebody to translate it so that it's available in Spanish as well.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Jay, for mentioning that. Okay. So now we're going to go to the district items, and I'm going to go to standards page. I'm going to select New Jersey, state, language arts, 2021, and I'm going to select grade 6. And as you can see, the standards populated over here in the window to the right. So let's just select one of the standards. I was hoping to get a drop down, but maybe we'll see the ones for math, because I'll show we'll select some for math just so you guys can see. Are we okay?
Yeah, Yvonne, when
So
you
far.
scroll down, I just want to see, I see that they have the RST standards that are similar to the evidence statements that we get. If you keep scrolling down, will we see RH standards as well? I'm just curious.
RH?
Oh, there it is, RH
Mm-hmm.
there, RH
Mm-hmm.
specific
Did
text.
you want
Yeah,
to
so,
see that?
yeah, so for
Okay.
the RH standard, Tristan, that's what I was referencing, that when we get our data back from the state for 6th through 11th grade for ELA, you will see the RH standards as evidence of an item that will be presented to them with that cross-curricular content and literacy for historical
Yes.
context.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Awesome. Thank
wonderful.
you. Yeah.
And there's only one item for that particular standard. Let me see about this RH. So that one has 2. So that's a total of 3 for these particular standards. Okay, so I'm going to, once we have, again, I've already talked about hovering over to see the information about the particular question that you might want to use. Okay, I can click on it again and see the actual question. And again, this was language arts, so I'm going to see if there's a passage attached to these particular standards that were selected. And there is not. Okay. So just remember, anytime you select a language arts or you're creating a language arts test, if there's a lot of questions you want to associate it, most language arts questions are associated with a passage. So you want to make sure that you select passage. And in this case, there was not. Okay. So let me just make some selections. Add the items to the test. And the items selected were added to my test. And they were added to the original test questions that were still there. Of course, if you would clear out anything that you had previously, but because the process is the same, I did not clear anything out. Okay. So once we have created or selected the test questions that we want, we just return to the test as I stated before. And your test is here. You could preview your test online. And it's going to take you to the settings. So in the settings, you get to decide if it's going to be auto advance of the questions. The students must answer all questions. You can turn these on or off. Can they pause the test in the middle? So usually we have that on. And depending on the type of test, you do want students to respond to all of your questions, if at all possible. But again, that just depends on the type of test you're creating. Display answer labels. I have single select and multi-select, depending on the type of questions that you are presenting to the students. It might only be one response, but depending on, again, on the type of question, if it's a multiple response, you want them to be able to select the multiple questions. Display the question numbers on or off, answer label format. Is it going to be in letter form or numbers? That's your choice. Passage position and text in the test taker will be to the left or the right. Display answer choices. And usually you don't want to give students guidance, but if that's the type of test you're creating, you would turn these on, okay? Question number labeling for grouping questions, your question group, multiple choice numbers, restart or continue, high correct answers, and great results in student review. That can be turned off if you don't want the students to see their results immediately. And then you have your security. Students honor pledge is off. Verify the students. That's when students have to input their ID code to log in. Do you want to shuffle your questions? This comes into play when students are testing remotely. Do you want those questions shuffled so that they can't share just by, they would have to literally know the exact question if they were sharing their responses. And then are you shuffling your multiple choice responses so that if by chance students do have the same test, the choices might not be in the same location, okay? So that you can just review on your own. And then there's accommodations for certain students. Is there a time limit? Is there going to be a schedule for the test to be taken at a certain time? Multiple choice click method, or click the answer, or click both. Enable video controls, audio controls. And we do usually want that on because we have text-to-speech response to questions. So you want some of this stuff, enable the audio, the font size, zoom in, and the contrast. Can they adjust it, line readers, and enable text-to-speech, okay? And then basic science palette, math palette. These tools are used depending on the type of test, and usually we have a lot with math where they can use different protractors, scientific calculators, just depends on the type of test you are creating. Are students able to draw on the test? Are they able to flag items and go back to them later? This is where we would turn on those tools, okay?
Ms. Brousseau, I saw the Spanish palette. What is the Spanish palette do? Does it just give you like a dictionary sort of thing?
It's but it's in Spanish, I believe, Jay. When you click on the Spanish palette, it just the language is in Spanish for those different tools.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I see they have a French one as well.
Yvonne, on one of the accommodations, or I guess security features, it was lockdown browser. So if we click on, then the student will be able to utilize the browser option when they're taking the assessment. That one, browser lockdown mode, press on, then the students are not able to utilize their browser while they're taking the assessment. Is that correct?
Right. Yes, that's absolutely correct, Dorena.
And I guess I'm assuming.
And we don't want students to be able to search the internet while they're testing. So yes.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming that honor pledge is like that academic integrity the students would take.
Yes, it would be read to them at the beginning of the test, for them to keep it confidential, not discuss the test, that type of response, okay? So once we're done with that, it says the test is ready for preview, okay? And then it will automatically take you to an online version of the test. And so you can actually see what the students would see in your test. And you begin testing. Okay. And this was the passage that we selected. It's to the right. And these are the responses. And then we have the text to speech feature.
Multiple choice. The author organizes the passage by. Please select the correct answer. A. Describing Henry Tanner's paintings in detail. B. Compare.
Okay. Says you have not answered all parts of the questions. Are you sure you want to move on to the next question? Okay, so students do get a response encouraging them to actually answer the questions if they have not answered all parts of the question of the test. Okay. So once we're done, you can look at your answer key to your questions. You can print the test after previewing online. And so we're done, okay? So now let's go back. Remember I said we would come back to, as soon as I find it, 2021 unit demo, language arts. Okay, so once I have created my test has been created. I see that it's available online. Everything looks fine. Do I want to publish this? So if I want to publish my test, you would click publish to the district. Okay. I'm not clicking it because I don't want to publish this to the district. I want to delete it. Okay. It's just a demo. So you would just click publish to the district. If you wanted to send it to specific schools, you would click share schools, and then you get the drop down and you select the schools that you want this particular assessment to be shared with. Okay. And then you would click publish, of course. Okay. So I'm going to close that out. Any questions? Any questions? Simple enough, right? So I want to now, did you want to look at a math? Because it's the same process for math. What I did want you guys to see was the actual drop down for different standards as it relates to math. With the language arts, there were no sub standards under them, but you could get substandards as well. We all know that there are substandards to many of our standards, and most times we see them in language arts as well as in math. But for those particular standards and those particular assessments that were selected, there were no drop downs. Did you want to see that? Because you guys literally could practice that on your own. The process is the same. Okay, no? We're good? Okay, so now I want to share with you, go back, a quick video on, I want to share with you a quick video on creating your own, or should I say not creating your own, but using the features that we have when you create your own assessments. Okay, so it's a very short video.
Covering each.
See if I can start it from the beginning.
Well, this is Mike, and this series of videos is going to be covering
Can you
each
hear
of
it?
the Linkit item types that are available.
Yes.
Everybody can hear, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't see you, so.
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds good.
Okay.
We'll to first cover some of the basics of the different formatting options that are available. And to do that, what I did was I put in some information here that I pulled up from Wikipedia on the Roanoke colony. So I'm just going to make some formatting changes to this here, just to demonstrate some of the options you have. So starting up here at the top, you can apply justification left, center, or right. I'll keep this off to the side there, off to the left. And then we also have the ability to put in numbered lists. So in the case of, say, this here, I can apply that here to this list. So I'll just highlight that, press on that right there. Some of these might have to be indented further. For example, First Voyages to Roanoke Island has a sub-bullet of In the New World. So I can click on that and I can indent it like that. So now it'll look more like this. White Returns to England is also a sub-bullet, and so on. You can also change this if you wanted to. So right now it's showing 1, 2, 3, 1. You do have, if you right-click anywhere in here, you can change the numbered list properties. So you might want to change it to something like Roman numerals if you wanted to. So it would change all of that. I'm going to keep it how it was though, and to do that I just hit Control-Z to undo those changes. A few more options. You can make things bold, italics, or underlined by clicking on any of these. For those of you who like shortcuts, you can also do that just by clicking on Control-B or Control-I, Control-U. Next, this right here, K, keep on same line. This is usually used for if you have a formula that you don't want to start on one line, but then the sentence comes to an end, or the end of the screen comes to an end, so it gets pushed to the next line. You want to keep it all on the same line. You would highlight that text like this, and then click on that K button. You can also create simple fractions here. So if I wanted to add a fraction over here, I could. I'll leave that like that, but I might want this to be x squared. You can create fractions like that. Next, font size. So I might want this to be more like a header. I can change this to large. Same with contents. I might want that to be large as well. So you can make those types of changes. These here let you add subscripts and superscripts. And if you want to remove the formatting, you can highlight it and do that as well. Next, we do support links. So if I wanted this Roanoke Colony, so when the student comes here, they can click on it and it will open up a new tab to bring them to the Roanoke Colony page here. You can highlight the text, click on link, and then paste in that link right here. And now this will be clickable in Test Taker for the students. Next, we have the ability to create tables. To demonstrate this, I'm going to treat this area over here as if it is a table. You can't see all of it. Some of it's cut off from the screen. But there might be, in this case, it looks like there's 8 rows and about 2 columns to create that table. So what I'll do is I'll click over here, I'll click on the table button, and I want there to be 8 rows and 2 columns. I can adjust the default width and height right here, but just know right now it's on a height of 100, but as I add things to it, that height will automatically adjust to fit the content that I'm adding. And also there is the option to hide border on Test Taker and Test Printing. You may want to make use of a table from a formatting perspective to make your content more organized, but you don't want to have those black borders in there, so you can hide them. So you'll see it when you're creating the table, but the students won't see it on the online Test Taker or a printed version of the test. So I'll click OK here. And this will create just a basic table for me. Coming back over to here, I can see that the third row has an image in it, and it's really just one column. So on the third row here, I can right-click, and I might want to merge this to the right. So now I have one merged cell here, and what I'm going to want to do is insert an image. So I can click on the Insert Image option, and I'll choose my file.
It's crazy, right? Too much snow. Yeah, so
It's okay.
So here's my image. It has to be either JPEG or PNG, and I believe GIFs are supported as well. So I'll just double click it and I'll upload it. This might come out. Might want to change it to 30, so you can toggle that. And again, that's too large, so I'll put it back to 20. Something like that. Now, just moving on a little here, you can upload images that can be played by the student. We are working right now on text-to-speech as well, so things can automatically be read out to the student as well. But if you want to add audio, it might be the sound of a violin playing. You can do that. While you're in here, if you have passages that you want to associate with this item, you can do this here by clicking on the Add Reference Passage option. You can insert videos to the question. These are typically added to a passage, though. You do have the ability to...
Hey, Evelyn? Evelyn? Oh, sorry. The sheet is in the dryer for the bed. All right.
Question as well. Then we do have Insert MathML. This is a bit more on the complicated side, but you can type in complex fractions if you use the MathML language. We did go over down here the indent option, but we also here have tab spaces. So what's the difference? If I want to have this first paragraph, the first part of it to be tabbed in, I can't just indent, because that will indent the entire paragraph. If I just want to tab just that first sentence there, I would use the tab button. You can also use box text to surround your text with a box if that's something you're interested in. And finally, one more thing here is insert definition. So I might want to highlight Lost Colony, click on Insert Definition, and just put in Roanoke Colony. And what does that do? When the student's taking the test, they'll be able to click on it, and it will pull up that definition for them if you feel the need for there to be kind of like a glossary while they're taking the test. And that's just a quick overview of the formatting options. The follow-up videos will cover each item type.
Okay. So that gave you an opportunity to see the how to format a test if you were actually creating your own questions that you wanted, if you wanted to create your own assessment. Now I'm going to share my screen again. I thought I would have time to let you guys create a test. As a matter of fact, why don't you guys I think we do have time. Each of you just log in, create one assessment, one question, share it with us. So that way, if you have questions along the way, we can answer them. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm not going to share. Okay.
Hello, this is Mike, and this series of videos is going to be covering each of